All right, let's talk money and relationships. Should couples have joint accounts, separate accounts, or both? The answer isn't as simple as you may think. Today we're breaking down the stats, the pros, the cons, and what works best for different married couples. So stick around to the end, guys, because this one's very interesting. In today's episode, we're delving into the very serious topic. This one has to do with the topic of what affects many couples, and this is managing finances together specifically. And this brings up this question: should couples have joint bank accounts, separate accounts, or maybe a combination of the both? Uh, this topic came up because I actually, for some reason, this topic does come up every now and again between me and my wife. And we were just talking about that yesterday. And I was like thinking, like, what should I talk about the podcast? And then I was thinking about that. And at the same time, we were having this conversation. And then I thought, you know what? Let's see what you all, the viewers, the followers, what do you guys have to think about this? Um, this is just going to be kind of sort of, again, showing the statistics, the pros and the cons of what works, what works for other people, what works for other couples, I mean. And leave it in the comments down below what works better for you. So what do you say we jump into let's explore, let's explore the statistics, the benefits and the potentials and the drawbacks of each of these approaches. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you guys the statistics that we got here. The 43% of U.S. couples who are married in a civil partnership or living together have only joint bank accounts. 34% maintain a combination of joint and separate accounts. 23% opt for completely separate accounts. Now, this does play a little bit into, again, this is all going to lead to one main thing at the very end when it comes to this, guys. So stick around to the very end of the video podcast, and it's not the final answer, but I definitely do believe that it plays the big role when it comes to this particular topic, or not answer, but a solution. It's a solution. So these figures that I just showed you guys show that joint accounts are common and are high significant numbers of couples that prefer to keep some of or all their finances separate, according to the statistics that I just showed you guys. And so the decision on how to manage and finance is deeply personal and can be influenced by various factors, including financial independence, spending habits, and trust. And it kind of sort of all leads down to, again, just that one thing. Whether you actually, you actually have 100% trust in your partner to be able to have the joint account, or maybe, sometimes, and this is coming from me, we do have joint accounts, and it's worked out that way for me and my wife for as long as we've been dating. We've been dating for gonna be 19 years, somewhere around that ballpark, and married going to, I think it was 11 years. So we've been together for most of our lives. And the money thing never seems to have been an issue ever, really. At some point, I was jobless and she got a job. So she was my sugar mama for a little while. I'm not ashamed to admit that. But then when the tables turned, and I was the one making money and she was not working, it just worked out. There was never no fights. We never complained about, you know, who bought who bought what, whatever. It was never about that. It was never about keeping points. And I think that when it comes to people who have separate accounts, there's a little bit of a bump there when it comes to that. It's keeping points. Uh whether because you want to keep that independence. I know people have a lot of there's a lot of not complaints, but there's a couple little issues here and there where they want to stay. They want to just be the one, solely the one. Another thing is protect. There's an upside to that. There's also protecting your partner's credits, whether because one or the other is has shit of a credit, so you kind of do it to save the whole marriage or the whole uh, thing that you guys have going on. Another reason that some people may also have separate accounts to be prepared for a worst case scenario, whether that being some sort of emergency. And another reason is it leads down to the trusting thing. When some may have backup plans for in case something goes wrong along the relationship and so on and so forth, in which case that's a completely different topic, different other issue. Another thing is to avoid feeling stuck or trapped. And I think that kind of sort of falls into the independent category, because you're before getting into a relationship, you kind of sort of you've been on your own for so long, you worked your way up to where you are right now. And to kind of let that go, not let that go, but to kind of like split it, to some people it might make them feel this way, it might make them feel stuck and or trapped, because it's just like they're not used to sharing the spotlight per se. Another reason people might have joint separate accounts, I mean, is to help both stay on top of finances. Again, and having to do with one or the other having some pretty shitty debt, and or just to kind of sort of just to get ahead in life, because nowadays it's kind of times are tough right now. So I kind of sort of get it, but like I said earlier, I come from a relationship that money was excuse me, was never an issue. Whether it was my wife making money, me making money, and both making money, it was just never was, and till this day has not been an issue. But again, that's just coming from me. But now let's go ahead. I'm gonna show you guys some more stuff here on some pros, some cons on both joint and separate accounts. We did a quick little rundown, and now I'm going to show you guys some actual stuff here. Let's go ahead. Let's do the joint account first. Let's do the pros of joint accounts. So the pros of having a joint account is transparency. Both partners have full visibility into income and expenditures, which can foster trust. And like I mentioned earlier, it kind of does have to sort of play a little bit with that. But like I said, transparency, that one's kind of sort of true. You both keep an eye on what it is that's happening on the numbers on the account, so you both are always on the same plan. So there's no ifs, there's no buts. You both are always right on the dot when it comes to the accounts. And to me, this one is kind of a big deal, because if one or the other has no idea what's going on, then that can also cause problems within the marriage or the relationship, whatever you want to call it. So that's a really good one. And the other one, simplified budgeting, easier to track shared expenses like rent, utilities, and groceries. Like I was saying, like it plays a big role, because you have it right in front of you for both of you to see. So again, You're both always are going to be on the same plan. Something goes missing, something's overcharged, anything that happens in the account, that you're both are just always going to be ready, and you both are always going to know exactly what to do, which to me, again, it works out from, which is why I like the idea of keeping the joint account. It builds that trust, and when there's trust, everything just seems to work a lot more better, I think. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Shared financial goals facilitates collaboration on saving and investment objectives. This one, I agree with this one. I do agree with it, especially, and I can use the perfect example that I can use right now is right now we're like refurnishing our house. We've gotten a good part of the living room, and now we're in the process. We're actually in the debate. I just talked about it with the wife before coming in here. Um, we're now debating whether to keep continue on with our room next, because the living room looks very, very nice. We put in some stools. We put in some big old furniture for like some cocktail stuff. We got this new nice looking table and stuff like that. It's awesome. And now we're in this debate where it's like, should we now move on to our bedroom, because there's some stuff that we want to remove and that we want to take out and stuff like that, to make some space, you know what I mean? And because all of us, and by all of us I mean the wife, my two girls, and myself, and the two dogs, all sleep in there at night. So we want to make some more space in there. So it's that decision, and or moving on to our girls' room. They have the room, they have space, besides the fact that the room is completely flooded with toys. But just to once again make more space for them, get a shorter bed, maybe some furniture, some mirror. We looked at the mirror not too long ago. So when it comes to actually saving to get stuff like in this case furniture to refurnish and stuff like that, works out perfectly. But at the same time, and this is coming from me personally, what I like to do, in which case, because of the whole video podcast and the channel stuff like that. So I got the joint account, right, and then let's say I'm actually right now in the middle of saving for. Actually, I'm in the middle of a debate myself, but I kind of sort of like take out just like a little bit of money, and there's like extra money that I make on the side, and I save that on a little stash on the side to get what I want for the channel itself. And then of course we also got the Patreon, which, by the way, if you have not joined the Patreon, if you want to support the channel, if you enjoy what you see, if you enjoy what I do here in the video podcast or the channel, head on over to the Patreon/Booze and Chill. Become a contributor. Tier start at $3. Behind the scenes, making of, special announcements, just exclusive videos that you're not going to get anywhere else. You can go ahead and do so by hitting the Patreon/Booze and Chill. And so that's kind of how I do it. To just little by little, just a little bit, like chump change, just to save for little things that I kind of sort of want to, make the whole experience for you guys a lot more broader, a lot more exciting, a lot more just to bring up the production value a little bit better. And at the same time, also giving you guys some good content as well, which, by the way, let me know in the video comments down below. Is this giving you all any value at all? And if it does, please hit the like button. Please do so. So, some couples find a hybrid approach sometimes. Actually, before we get into the hybrid approach, let's go ahead and finish off here with the cons. The cons of a joint account. Loss of financial autonomy. Individual spending may feel scrutinized, leading to potential conflicts. Like I was saying earlier, some people just kind of stick to their whole independence, and they're just not used to sharing that with somebody else, because they put in all this work, they saved up all this money, and then for them to just kind of like split it, some people don't like that idea. And there might be some other stuff that I might miss here and there, but if you guys have any other suggestions and or comments on the cons of joint account, please let me know in the comment sections down below. The next one here, the debt liability. One partner's debt can impact the shared account, affecting both parties. And of course, I think once again, it does have to do with how much you can, you think you can trust your partner. But I mean, that's kind of why you guys got married in the first place, right? Because you care for each other, you trust each other. Hopefully that's in the cards. And some people, there's always little things when it comes to the just the marriage in general. Just the financial part just does play a huge role, because to build your empire, to build, you know by empire I mean the family. Empire just sounds cooler. To build the empire, you do need certain things, starting with the finances, right? So anything that's kind of would be the first thing to do, aside from the trust and all of that stuff. To build an empire, you need some finances. That would kind of sort of technically be step number 2. Or what do you guys think? Is it the finances first, or is it the building of the trust? Let me know what you guys think in the comments right down below, please. Now, let's go ahead and do the separate. Let's do the separate pros. The financial independence allows each partner to manage their own spending without oversight. Once again, it's has to do with the whole trusting thing. And with a split account, of course, you have the clear mind of knowing that you are in full 100% control of your finances. Your partner having their own personal control of their finances. And, there's just absolutely no worries, because you know what you're spending. You don't have to worry about, anybody else coming into your account. And it's just, it's a breeze, right? And, you're untouchable. You're untouchable, basically. And let's see. The next thing, personalized financial management, tailored control over individual savings and expenditures. So basically, when it comes down to the pros of having your separate bank accounts, it's basically just a breeze, because again, you are in full control of your own expenses, and nothing else matters, because you know separate. It's a one household, and there's no worries other than maybe who's gonna do the dishes, something like that. And again, this is a whole totally different topic there. Now let's go ahead and go into the separate cons. Let's get into the separate cons. Separate cons: complexity in managing shared expenses, requires additional coordination to split bills and joint cost. At some point, your partner will eventually, it happens to the best of us. Eventually, one of the other is going to get into some sorts of financial debt. And then that partner is going to reach over to the other. It's like, hey, I fucked up. Can I borrow some cash? Blah, 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 this and that. And that might cause a little bit of an issue. depending on, how, where they come from, how they were raised, the way they think, stuff like that. There's so many factors to come into that. And the thing is that when it comes to a relationship, basically, I mean, if you're a married couple, let me know in the comments if you guys are married. If you are a married couple, it's like, I'm not saying you're walking in a freaking minefield, but there's some days where it's like stuff just happens, shit happens, and it does. But when it comes to something, like, I'm talking like small little issues, like I mentioned, you didn't do the dishes, or you forgot to clean this up. I asked you to do this so and so ago, blah blah blah. No big deal. Not it, They just little tiny little stupid fights that happen, right? It happens. Once again, let me know if you are a married couple watching this. It just happens. But when it comes down to the finance problems, those are the ones that just, they're easy to fix. If you have the mindset and think, you know what, don't worry about it. Money comes and goes. It can get fixed over time. But in the heat of the moment, it could cause some, you know, issue. Some things might be said that they don't mean, some like stuff like that, yada yada. So when it comes to financial problems within a couple or marriage or whatever you want to call it could potentially, again, depending, could lead to something a lot more uglier. But again, it just really depends on your all's mindset. Now, the potential for financial secrecy without open communication, separate accounts might lead to misunderstandings about financial habits. Um, like how I mentioned earlier, I'm doing this separate thing. Uh, I actually don't remember if I have told my wife or not yet, but it's not even like a big thing. It's like I said, it's uh, like just, what was the word I used earlier? Chump change. The $20 a week, and if I make extra money on the side, put that on the side. $20 sounds like a lot, but let's face it, it's the adult dollar nowadays. A dollar don't mean shit in these times here in 2025. A dollar don't mean shit. So the $20 bill is the adult dollar. That's what it's called now. So, just chump change here and there, to save up to something, again, for production value, for the channel and the video podcast and stuff like that. But when it comes to the whole secrecy thing, I guess that's a whole different ball game as well. I guess it depends what you're saving for. Like, if you're saving up for like a divorce or some shit, of course it's gonna be for, like, forget about it, dude. But it's like for something, I don't know, the wife wants this particular hair dryer that costs like $200 to $300, which is crazy. Or like the guy wants, I don't know, like a new, I don't know. In my case, it would be something, I don't know, some like a new mic, maybe something. That's not what I want. But just like an example, which costs around the same. And there's always that little, butting of the heads. This is probably the wrong thing to gesture to use, but whatever. The point is, try to keep open mind and just trust the process of your partner is doing, because I think that kind of sort of, it plays a huge part. It plays a huge part. Y'all gotta just y'all just gotta sit down and really just talk about what it is that's actually happening, and have like a game plan, man. Have a game plan. And that's the pros and cons. Joints, everyone's on the same boat, separate. To me, it just sounds a little bit more complicated. And again, this is coming from somebody who has a joint account, which is why I think this one's kind of sort of important to hear from you guys on this one, because I want to hear y'all's feedback. What is it that you guys do? What is your game plan? And so on and so forth. Now, as I was saying about the hybrid approaches, some might work, but some people combine joint accounts for shared expenses and separate accounts for personal use. Kind of, sort of what I'm doing, kind of, but not really. This method offers both transparency and independence. Financial experts often recommend this balanced strategy to accommodate varying preferences and spending habits. That's another one, spending habits. If you're on freaking Amazon twice, 3 times a week, well, then of course there's gonna be a huge problem. Now, that's with joint accounts. Separate accounts, of course, it's a breeze. Partner over here spending on Amazon 2 to 4 times a week. That's on them. But then on the other hand, it comes down to that issue where, like, oh, I overdid it. Can I borrow some cash? And again, it just depends on the couple itself. If your partner's cool, it's like, you know what? Fine, whatever. But, maybe you should chill it with the fucking Amazon ordering. You know what I mean? There's a lot of pros and cons when it comes down to that. So it just depends. It really, really depends. There's like a lot to it. A lot to it, guys. And so all the highlights I just showed you guys, joint accounts seem to be a little bit more common according to the statistics that I showed you guys. A significant number of couples are preferring to keep some or all their finances separate. Again, this is what from the data I just showed you guys earlier in the beginning of the video podcast. So, I mean, coming right down to the main thing here, and just to say, this video podcast might be a little bit too short. When it's done, when it's a solo one, doing all the talking and whatnot, I think it's gonna be short. But I tried to incorporate, because like I said, I've got this idea from conversations that I've had with my wife, and hearing stories from friends, colleagues, and stuff like that. So I try to incorporate both aspects of myself and my wife. So I try kind of like remembering what stuff that she would say, and I think I pretty much nailed it. She might have a little bit more to say, but I pretty much I think I narrowed it down to the basics of my side of the story, her side of the story. But I think overall, when it really does come right down to it, it's the decision on how to manage finances. I mean, it's personal. It's super, super personal. Like I mentioned in the beginning, like even just deciding what bank to open an account also may cause problems. Some like when it comes down to like the whole small marriage problems, like I'm Samsung, my wife is iPhone, I'm blue cheese, she's ranch, little stuff like that. Like you know what I mean? Like any little thing can cause like something, whether it's a stupid little fun. And by fun, I mean like when I mentioned the blue cheese and ranch and the Samsung and iPhone, there's just little fun little debates that we have. It's a thing for anybody out there watching who's still living the single life. It's a thing. there's fun little fights too. You like to just, spice things up a little bit, right? But then, when it comes to bigger, much more adulty responsible things, those are the fights you kind of sort of have to, take it to heart and actually, be a little bit more serious about it. And but yeah, like I said, little small things that can play influence, and other various factors like I just covered, um, financial ones, the financial independence, spending habits. Ultimately, there's no there's no one size fits all answer. There isn't, because like I've been talking throughout this entire video podcast, there's tiny little factors to actually take in when it comes to this. And like I even separated the finance stuff to the small little couple fights to big couple fights. All those factors come into play when it comes down to decision making in general. And it does. Like it just simply does. So the key is open communication. I think that's kind of what it all just comes right down to. And finding a system that aligns both you and your partner as well, whether that being values, financial goals, just whatever else between you and your partner is or has, just be open about it and talk about it. And this goes both ways for both joint accounts, separate accounts, or the hybrid way, both, well, all three separate, joint, and, you know, the hybrid way, which is having, both. And I mean, that's pretty much really it, guys. This could have been a much more longer one, but again, this is solo. And like I said, I tried kind of sort of getting the basics from my wife's point of view as well. And I mean, overall, that's really what this is about when it comes down to having a joint and separate accounts. Just open communication, trust, and just getting your shit together. Just really, guys. That's really all when it comes right down to. And I think that pretty much sets this video podcast. Sorry if it was a little too short, but I mean, you know, I try to cover everything as much as I could. But you know what? This is where you guys come in. Like I said, let me know in the comment sections if I may have missed something. And not everybody is the same. Not all couples are the same. Let me know in the comment section down below. How do you guys manage? Don't Nothing personal, nothing like that. Keep it simple. Let me know. Is it joint? Is it separate? Or is there something in between that I may not know about that you would love to share with the rest of the class? But that's pretty much it for that, guys. Thank you so much. And I will catch you guys in the next one. And don't forget to follow all Booze and Chill socials, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and of course, the tubes. And like I mentioned earlier, head on over to Patreon /Booze and Chill for behind the scenes and making of exclusive video special announcements. Tier start at $3. And well, you're not going to get any sweeter than that. No, how can you? And of course, if the YouTube isn't your thing, you can also watch and or just listen into this video podcast in audio also as well on Spotify. Don't forget to like it there as well, comment there as well, rate it, all that good stuff. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for sticking along for the ride. This was an interesting one. Once again, fill me in, on your guys' story, separate, joint, or something new of a hybrid that I don't know about or nobody knows about, let me know in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. And remember, if you keep watching, I'm gonna keep drinking. I got nothing on me today. Going dry. Peace out.